Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Adam Rambles About. Today we're going to be talking about Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII. So, this game is pretty cool. It is actually one of my first Final Fantasy games. I played it back on my brother's PSP, alongside one of the Dissidia games as well. Yeah, I was a bit late to the party, you could say, when it came to Final Fantasy. And then I went back to 7 afterwards, and then I went to check out some of the older games like 6 and 4 and stuff like that. I still got a lot of the games to play, but I digress. Crisis Core was a game I used to spend so much time on. It's so much fun. But I was curious, so I decided to go back to it. Does the game hold up? And that's the big question for me. And I think it holds up in a different way than you may expect. Honestly, the game is very repetitive in some ways. The combat itself, going back to it, it used to be like this. It used to feel so much like so fast and frenetic. And going back to it now, it seems a bit samey almost. It's good. It's still very fun. You basically think Kingdom Hearts in a very rudimentary sense, like a prototype Kingdom Hearts for PSP. I suppose you could put that into perspective. It also helps that Tetsuya Nomura's really behind this one. You can tell based on Zack's character and some of the other characters just feeling very Nomura. It's got that vibe. But regardless, the gameplay itself is very fine. It works. It's an action-based formula. You have a nice dodge, but you do have a meter that goes down every time you do dodge, and you can block, which sometimes blocking doesn't feel as frenetic as I wish it would be, but that's okay. Sometimes it's just like attack, dodge, attack, dodge, get in some magic, attack, dodge. And that's it's a good balance of gameplay. It feels nice when you actually have it in your hands, but in some ways it can be a bit, like I said, repetitive in a sense, and does it hold up as well as it used to? I would say yes, in a way. The game's really fun when it comes to all of its story, all of its missions, all the side stuff you can do. The game is rather big, but from what I remember, it's not that long necessarily story-wise. There's a lot of cool cutscenes, there's a lot of cool fights. It's basically, it's for the fans. It's definitely for the fans. It's just hey, here, have some Final Fantasy VII goodness, a nice prequel game for you, talking about Zack, and it's great. It's a really fun game. I used to play the heck out of it. And I have the strategy guide and stuff, and I still love flipping through that and seeing whoa, this mission has this boss? Whoa, what? And it's it's so cool. I didn't spoil the story stuff for myself, but I do remember looking through the missions and stuff, and it's oh man, there's side missions where you can fight all the summons and stuff, and you can get extra summons. Well, your slot machine. I'll get to that. But yeah, you can get all kinds of different cool stuff and materials, and you can combine materials. Such a cool mechanic. You could do so much fun stuff in the game, and it feels good for a very simplistic kind of game. I would say simplistic, but I think I only mean that in terms of looking at it at face value when it comes to combat and stuff, because you're not working with any other party members or anything here. It's just Zack, basically, and you're building him, and you're putting yourself in his shoes, so to speak. And that's good. That's fine. That's great. I like the game a lot, so it's great. But back to that slot machine. One thing about the gameplay that's very unique is there's your I already forgot the name for it. The DMV? I'll put it up on screen. It's the thing that you use to level up. Yeah. And you can level up skills and stuff with it, and you basically just have to rely on a slot machine. It is wildin'. You can also get special attacks, different character attacks, and different, special abilities that can attack all enemies, or one enemy do a lot of damage, or etc. etc. It's something. It's definitely unique for what it is, but does that part hold up? No, not really. It's cool. I'll give it that. They're certainly unique, and there's a percentage where you can like, basically, I think it's like you can complete the game and stuff. If you want like 100% stuff, you can also like constantly use that, and like you get different little extra scenes every time you get a certain like character show up as well. It's weird. It's wacky. But regardless, though, it's Crisis Core. Crisis Core's fun. I recommend playing it if you can. It's a weird and wacky game. If you've only played, when it comes to like Final Fantasy VII stuff, if you've only played the remake, it might be hard to go back to Crisis Core, because like Final Fantasy VII remake does what Crisis Core tried to do way back when, in my opinion. It tried to make a very fun, fast, frenetic action game, and remake does that perfectly. Crisis Core did that perfectly. That's how I used to view it. But going from that to 7 Remake, it feels like night and day. And I do eventually want to see Crisis Core come back, because I don't even think you can download it on the PlayStation Store on PSP, like at all. And I think you can only get it on a physical UMD. And that's kind of a shame, because it's a really good game. And I mean, yeah, physical collection's great. I still got my physical copy, but like, still, I want to see other people be able to play it without having to try to locate a physical copy that may be kind of hard to find on a console they may not play. You get me? I assume you do. So, I'd like to see Crisis Core come back. I don't know if we will, but we kind of are, in a way, sort of, I guess, with that mobile game that's coming out. Not the Battle Royale one, that's different. The like compilation game that has like all the FF7 lore and stories in like a gacha mechanic sort of situation. I don't know what that's going to be like, but I'll definitely try to cover it. Regardless, I've talked your ear off long enough. Crisis Core is cool, and you should check it out. And Zach is a pretty cool dude, if not a little bit annoying. You're gonna love him. Anyway, this has been Adam, and I'll catch you guys later. Play Crisis Core.